The Battle of Okinawa, a name that still sends chills down the spines of those who know its story. This wasn't just another World War II battle, it was 82 days of pure hell that would change the course of history. Imagine a beautiful Pacific island transformed into what survivors called the Typhoon of Steel. The numbers are almost impossible to comprehend. 500,000 shells hitting the island every day, more than 1,000 Allied ships gathering offshore, the largest amphibious assault in the Pacific War. The sound of explosions was so constant that soldiers couldn't distinguish individual blasts anymore. It was just one continuous roar of death. But the Japanese had a terrifying answer to this overwhelming force: the kamikazes. Operation Kikusui unleashed waves of young pilots on suicide missions, their planes loaded with explosives, diving straight into Allied ships. Picture this: over 1,900 young men, barely out of their teens, choosing certain death to protect their homeland. They sank 36 Allied ships and damaged hundreds more. The psychological impact on Allied sailors was devastating. How do you fight an enemy who embraces death? Yet the true tragedy of Okinawa lay in its civilian population. As American forces advanced, Japanese soldiers used civilians as human shields, forcing them into caves that became death traps. Even more horrifying, Japanese propaganda convinced many civilians that American soldiers would torture them if captured. Entire families jumped from cliffs rather than surrender. The numbers are heartbreaking. Of Okinawa's 300,000 civilians, perhaps a third perished in the battle. This devastating toll would later influence one of history's most momentous decisions. American military planners, looking at the fanatical resistance on Okinawa, estimated that invading mainland Japan could cost millions of lives. The bloody nose they received on this island directly contributed to the decision to use atomic weapons on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The battle's end left more than just military casualties. Okinawa's unique culture, developed over centuries, lay in ruins. Ancient temples, historical documents, and priceless artifacts were obliterated. The environment was equally scarred: lush forests reduced to muddy wastelands, coral reefs shattered by bombs, and fields rendered unusable by unexploded ordnance that still threatens lives today. The Battle of Okinawa stands as a stark reminder of war's true cost, not just in military casualties, but in civilian suffering, cultural destruction, and environmental devastation. It's a lesson written in blood and steel, one that shaped the modern world in ways we're still trying to understand. When people talk about the horrors of war, Okinawa is what they mean: a paradise turned into hell on Earth, where the line between soldier and civilian disappeared in a storm of steel and fire.